think I've been awake for maybe an hour now. Still trying to wake up. I think I passed out about like 6 or 7 o'clock last night. Yeah. Woke up at like 1 or midnight and just went right back to sleep. I was like, no, I'm not. No. I'm gonna be honest, I just want to go home. I'm just getting tired of being pushed out of pretty much every home I've lived in, or forced to have to get rid of it to get away from the bullshit. And this time around, this is some genuine bullshit. No, I knew the house wasn't working really. I gave it my all. You know, I was when you're doing that stuff by yourself, that breaks you down really fast. And then when you got people expecting you to hold down 40 hour, you know, a week jobs, and trying to repair a house, maintain a house, and be the one to do all the cooking, minus the random, well, you want a chili dog or you want a grilled cheese sandwich? Every now and then they'll make something. They'd make great meatloaf, but I was the cook in the house. All that stuff, which I didn't mind doing that stuff. It's just when you start expecting someone to do everything while you just get to go play and fuck around, it burns people out. And with my health, I've had some sit there and go, oh, you just use your disability as an excuse. No, I know my limitations and I stay aware of my disability. Why? Because I'm not willing to lose my legs because somebody else demands it. This stuff's gonna bother me for a long time, and like this has really been the only way I can kind of get stuff out, like get the shit out of my head. Yeah, I'm sitting here still thinking to myself, you know, I should be excited that, you know, I was given it, you know, I was given at least an opportunity by my own family to try and do something with this when they helped me with the co-signing and part of the down payment and all that stuff. But I've been doing the rest on my own. Even when someone was there, I was doing the rest on my own. And just with all the fighting, all the shit with my kids, and then family, that person constantly leaving and fucking around and obsessing over everybody else and other people nonstop. And then my mom. I mean, the last 10 years alone have been hell. Since I woke up in the hospital like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, something like that, it's just only gotten worse. And so I'm hoping that this point, because, you know, as much as some people might think I hate my son, I don't hate my older son. I've hated how he's been raised to treat me. And I don't put that on him. That he didn't raise himself. He didn't, you know, use himself like a tool to alienate the shit out of me. To use himself to alienate me. I dealt with a lot of parental alienation, mostly from his mom. And it should tell you how much I love someone when they can do all this shit to me since we were teenagers. And I still love her. It's just like with my ex-wife. I still love that woman. I just could never go back to... I don't want to go backwards ever again like that. I took a chance on the two people who hurt me the most in life, and out of those two, the one really fucked me up. Like, genuinely fucked me up. I went through 2 years of counseling just through this shit from a couple years ago. And it was requested counseling. That was the only thing that was really even expected of me, too. You know, when I was having to deal with all that legal shit. And I looked down and was like, I need it. I'm logical enough to understand that when things are bad and you gotta either get help or you've got to get it fixed, because it's not going to get better. It's just going to keep getting worse. And if you're the only one, when there's two people in there, when we talk about two sides of the road, when only one of those people are trying to fix the entire road and kind of clean up the bullshit and get it to where you can, move on again, to, do what you got to do on those 2-lane roads. You can't get them fixed when it's one person doing it by themselves, and it does not work that way. And when one person's spending more time giving their attention to other people, they can't exactly sit there and claim that, oh, this was a toxic relationship because of, me. I didn't go and obsess over other people. I mean, my longtime best friend since I was a child, Nate, I didn't obsess over him. I didn't sit and just talk about him every day, all the time. I didn't talk about any of my old female friends every day, all the time. I had to. I learned more about her friends, and have never met them, because she would just basically tell me everything, and half the time I don't even know how much of it is true at this point. Because yeah, but no, like I was saying with my son, I don't hate him, but I'm learning from him on the decision he made to skip out. Like, no, this shit is extremely fucking toxic. I got to get as far away from this as possible. I don't blame him, and I know part of that was me. Yeah, he got his head fucked with pretty bad too. I mean, going back and looking at all his messages, yeah, I dealt with shit tons of hate, shit tons of threats, everything from him. We went from actually having a fairly decent relationship. We were actually starting to have a good relationship, and then she started just talking shit all the time, and it destroyed that. Him and I only got to be kind of like a father-son type thing for about 4 or 5 years before that was taken away again. And it was always my fault. I told that I'm a narcissist, but if I was a narcissist, I sure as fuck wouldn't be doing so much for somebody else. I would have told them to go do it themselves. I wouldn't sacrifice so much of myself for somebody else to be a narcissist like that. I understand the value of love. I don't put a price on it either. And so it's like, it's people with money that has caused me to dislike money. I have almost a straight hatred towards money, because all it's done, anybody I've ever met that has money, I'll get lucky. Like, I'll put it this way: there's people who think they have lots of money, and then there's also the smaller number that actually do, and I mean a lot. And I noticed that somewhere in that spectrum, somewhere in between, like, there's people that actually, like, it's like when I was going through the worldwide Amway stuff, I bumped shoulders with a lot of millionaires then, and all of them with the Christian values, stuff like that. Even if they weren't practicing or anything, they just kind of carried those values a bit. They were actually pretty good people, and they weren't fucking shitting on you because you didn't have what they had. But then everyone else I've met outside of those types of situations, every other person with money, they're the most fucking hateful, spiteful, vindictive, judgmental fucking people I've ever met. And the argument, I worked hard, blah, blah, blah. No, that's your arrogance and that's your narcissism sitting there trying to, validate to yourself why you can be a piece of shit to somebody else who doesn't have what you have. People talk about, disabled kids in school, that you got to be more more accepting of them, treat them better, don't treat them like they don't exist, that type of stuff. They're just trying to fit in and be a part of, their community, just like any other kid. And many forget that message has to extend on to when those kids become adults. Because the moment school's finished, that's when you really start seeing, especially amongst those who grew up with disabilities, you start seeing suicide rates go up. Because people immediately, some kind of switch goes, well, this guy's a piece of shit because he doesn't have lots of money. It's about image and money as you become an adult. And then they want to hold over your head, well, I saw this guy working at Walmart who can barely, wipe his own butt, and he's in his 30s, and, welcome to Walmart, we love you. That type of stuff. Because I'm not going to use what was said to me by even my son. I had some really fucking mean shit said to me. But people can understand and have a little compassion or empathy for those who are children that are disabled, but it's like that goes away once they are pretty much out of high school. Unless it's something, an obvious disability and all that stuff, most people will just look at you like you're shit. Unless you're rich, you have a nice car, a nice house, all this stuff, and a good looking wife, all those things, you're nothing in this country. And there's a reason why this country is falling apart, is because people are actually too much of lovers of themselves. They're spending too much time trying to please themselves and chase an image. The only image that they're chasing is one of the beast, in my mind. Because those who are trying to chase that image become meaner and meaner, more arrogant, more selfish. Quit chasing a fucking image. You don't have to hide anything. You don't have to lie about anything. You don't have to hurt anybody to do it. And most people that I've known that have gotten there and are still genuinely good people is because they never did it at the expense of somebody else's suffering. I want to be excited about the fact that my home sold. And I want to be excited that I'm gaining some financial freedom for once, and I'm able to take one opportunity and turn it into another opportunity, in which I'll be able to turn into another opportunity. I just didn't want to. I wanted to include that person, to be honest. I didn't want to interfere what career path they wanted. I didn't necessarily want to interfere with their friendships. I would have to sacrifice and move from the same friendships and friends that they would have in essence. I had already did that with this house that I just sold. Because a lot of my friends, they're gone. And then the one friend, one or two friends that I still had, up here, I could only come up maybe once a month to come visit, while they were spending almost every weekend, and at one point was almost every other day at these other people's houses. I was alone for a long time, and it fucks people's heads up. And so I'm not really looking forward to being alone halfway across the country and not knowing anybody. I mean, it's going to be a lot harder. And I've got a couple of old friends out in those directions, and one that one that I went to from middle school into high school with, and which is pretty cool. I didn't realize they lived out that way, but I'll have to bug them at least once or twice, but I'm not sure if I will do it that much, because I've got a lot of damage, and I don't like to bring that to other people's homes. So I deal with a lot of personal shame from all this crap, and I don't want my shit to interfere with someone else's until I can deal with all this. My other friend out there, I knew him back when I met him when I was still married. He was with one of my. He's of all things, he's an ex of one of my old best friends, Jessica. She was like a sister to me, but I haven't seen her talk to her since they split. But I try not to allow other people's beefs to become my beef. But unless they do something really kind of fucked up, then it's like, no. I mean, people fight, and I don't know anybody out there who's who's been married or is married, any type of long-term relationship, who's never had a bad fight before. You know, I mean, some of them have probably had worse than they're even willing to admit. But I'm just putting this over here. But they everybody's dealt with some pretty bad ones, and like I know some people, like with my more recent, I've seen like some of the shit, like, you know, why would you fucking punch a hole? I got to the point with this house, I didn't give a fuck what was going on with this house that I'm in. Oh, I just sold. So I mean, in essence, I'm homeless now. But I got to the point I just didn't care what happened to the house. There's so much that needed to be done. I gave up. I was giving up. I was trying, and when I was trying to when I was finally getting ready to start knocking out the bathroom, that's when all this shit happened. So it's like I gave up. I knew that anytime I went to start on something, something was gonna happen. Whether I started a job, was getting ready to finally do something that I need to do, updated Wiser in home, all that shit. It didn't matter. There was always something, and so I just kind of stopped. You know, I knew we both had to eat. We both, you know, that type of stuff. So, I mean, obviously kept cooking. You know, I did my part of the dishes and all that. I mean, dishes for most part was pretty well shared. Laundry, she did most of. Because if I did the laundry, I was afraid that I'd just fuck up. Not folding that right, or... But I'm just trying to keep moving forward, even though I'm just really much in the... I want to give up a lot. I mean, I've been I was talking about when in my bad and good news vid, the last one, that there's a couple homes I'm looking at, but there's one I'm in particular, just I don't know. I'm probably gonna end up getting that one. I mean, it's got a decent location to it, and I mean, the town isn't like one of those towns where it's got all this bullshit going on for it. It's pretty much one of those. It doesn't. How do you explain it? It doesn't have all like the hustle and bustle that you'd find in some small towns or larger towns, but it has the activity there. I don't even know if that's even how to explain. It's similar to Klamath Falls. It's just I don't think it's as spread out. I don't really know how actual large the city is because you can only look at it on a map, and doing the little scale thing, you can only picture that so much. I could go and do that between Klamath and there now, and yeah, it might be comparable in size, but yeah, it's the place I'm looking at is, of all things, is across the street from a cemetery. So at least I know that, you know, if I'm on my last, you know, leg, and I know I'm about ready to, you know, croak, I can at least, you know, walk myself to my own plot and try and die right there. Just make it easier, you know. Okay, that's it right there. Dig that hole. I'll just go lay in it real quick because I'll be checking out here in a couple hours probably. I'm just trying to lighten up the mood a little bit, but I just feel like it's probably, you know, when I'm looking at it, it's some people might think that's weird and all that shit. All I have to do really is go, and once I can get the fencing in, I'll start planting some hedge bushes, those types of things. I don't want the ones that smell like cat pee. That's just annoying. I can't stand that. And those are like everywhere in almost every city, at every other fucking business, it seems like. But No, I'm probably gonna, if I don't use, well, I know I'm gonna be planting some fruit trees, stuff like that, because I do like to garden. I do like to, I like the micro farm. So I mean, I just, it'll have the room that I'm looking for property wise to do what I want with it. Um, there's actually a spot on the property right there that the way it's set up. So in the corner of the property, um, DHS number. So scribble that. Do that. It's bad that I know the layout already just by looking at it a couple times of the property. It's really fucking weird. But I'm not gonna. It's yeah. I'm not gonna add the trees up because I know the positions of those two. That's actually that's strange. I'm just doing the rough outline of the property and then idea of the house. So I'll do this. I'm gonna go. Got the road right there. Goes off over here. You'd think I'd been there. Got this road here, and I haven't. And it goes into there because there's a little gate there, metal gate to get onto that road. So I don't know if you can see this. So let's just imagine that's the house. This square, even this broke part here, that's the property. It's like an acre, and then you got. So let's see here. It would probably be more like this, and then you've got the front of the house. Of course, from your view, it's probably backwards, so it'd be flipped around where the front goes. Where, yeah. Anyways, there's a spot right here on that property that's actually large enough that I can actually just do like my little produce standard store right there. Otherwise, the other option is because I see what's nearby and all that, what kind of places are out there. The other option is I can do what I've also wanted to do with that. I've always wanted to do like a produce stand type store with a little food cart to it. And so, I mean, I can start with one or the other. I can go one way and then add the other later, or start the other way and then, yeah. And so that spot actually has it's perfectly, the way it's set up, it's perfectly set up for like a little food cart. Or you can have someone kind of do like a little drive through at the food cart, and then you got another side, the opposite side, where if somebody, um, people will walk up, order their food, sit and eat. Granted, it's across the street from a fucking cemetery, but that stuff doesn't really bother me. Um, there's a long time there. We used to do a lot of paranormal investigations. I've got to work with like the Ghost Adventures group. When they did the Shanghai tunnels, we got to work with them and I'll do some of the reenactment stuff. Ghost hunters, we've worked with them, but not for show wise. We've worked with them off scene before with a couple places, and then a lot of times just communicated type thing. Then there was there was the My Ghost Story there on like Travel Channel or History Channel, something like that. Now I directly didn't take part in that, but my mom did, my Uncle Robert, and some of them did. Yeah, we've met, was it Chip Casey? I've met Sylvia Brown back when she was still alive. Quite a few people. Even Erin from Ghost Adventure, his sister, she actually used to help set up the paranormal conferences there in Oregon City. I think she still does, and I can't remember. But yeah, we dealt with quite a few of the different, like, more popular, famous groups, and then some that you'd never heard of before. But it was a fun time. So I mean, being right there, shit. If I wanted to, I can just go out and invest in the cemetery if I wanted to. Otherwise, I mean, it's an opportunity for photography right there too. Kind of weird, I know, but there's still an opportunity for photography right there, and in the surrounding areas. Um, Part of that location too for the home is it's one of those situations. I know the home ain't gonna be sold anytime soon because not many people want to go live next to a cemetery or across the street from one. So I mean, if it's haunted, it's haunted. I'll probably do I have my methods of what I do with my homes and properties, and in fact, um, mhm. Yep. So I've got these in my wallet for now because I've been saving them for when I get my new home, and I've had these for a while. But these little medallions right here, and these have been blessed. I've got 4 of them. Hard to see. But I've got 4 of these that are blessed, and what you do is you can either carefully, like, say, nail it to a fence post, or you bury it and you do it at the 4 corners of your property. And it kind of helps create kind of like a blessed barrier there. And then I do, of course, have holy water, all that shit. I've done smudgings. I did that at my place a couple times at one point there at the beginning. Because there's just so much negativity in that fucking house. So much negativity. And yeah. I don't know how many times, like, even on the security camera, at one point when that was going, I shut that down a while ago because I just got tired of being accused of shit. It's like, that's the only one that is accessible from anything, and that's to see who is entering the driveway. That biker shit, we had some bikers pull up and in. If I, had known, well, I'll just say if I had known one of my friends sooner, I wouldn't have had as much of an issue or worry, because we kept having some folks, on their bikes rolling, just all different people rolling up, and then, yeah, and I didn't learn till later that, well, from my momentary boss at the market, and he was a friend of mine, that the previous owner was pretty good friends with some of the jokers out that way, and or down there. And they used to go hang out even at the market and sit and drink beers in the garage at the market and all that stuff. So I mean, I thought that was cool. I was like, you know what? If I had known and then known my one friend sooner, and just say my friend Bob, I wouldn't have had an issue at all. I know with this house being sold, I know one of the things I am doing is I'm getting me a bike. I've been wanting to get a bigger bike for quite a while, so the only thing you might as well say I'll splurge on in essence is it's getting a decent, good running used bike. But other than that, everything else is going to a new home, getting it, getting some, what I need for furniture, because I'm not taking everything. I'm definitely not taking everything. Mainly just my movie shelving, and then my like my, my computer desk, stuff like that. So that way I've got something for my computer. But I'm not taking everything because, yeah, I'm taking a number from my son and I'm up and vanishing basically, and I'm basically gonna try and forget a lot of shit. I'm not gonna forget anything, but I gotta move on and get away from all the toxic shit. I went from a pretty happy, headstrong, confident person that I didn't really have a lot of trouble trying to, you know, well, I still had trouble fitting in a lot of cases, but most people were more open with me back then because I was a lot more happier. I was easier to be around, and where all this shit just kind of broke me. So I mean, I need to get as far away as possible, and to do that, I can't take everything that I have. I mean, really, I don't have that much. Most of my shit is just a rather very large movie collection, some movie shelves, and then yeah, some old school TVs, VCRs, and all that I've got kind of stocked up a little bit in case one goes bad. Got another one, but I also was working on replicating um, my own little mini movie rental. So kind of like a man cave movie rental, but yeah, that'll all get moved. And of course, whatever clothes I have left, and then my blacksmithing stuff, and then my ATV and all that, and my UTV that's in the shop there. So I'm giving my neighbor the Suzuki quad that I have there because the engine runs, but for me to be able to repair that and all that, especially for what I my limited knowledge on something like that extensive, I mean, the tires alone to replace on that thing is more than what that thing's worth. So it's like, it's not worth it for me to go that route. But no, I'm just gonna give that to my neighbor, and then I'm gonna, yeah, then I'm gonna. I just don't have a lot of shit. I really don't. Um, so I mean, it'll work out in a lot of ways to get this and get moving. And I mean, I get one of those pod things. I'll have to drain the UTV and stuff out of all the fluids, which is fine, and all that. But I'll probably pack that in there and then just pack around it and all that stuff to get it taken care of. And then that thing will just get shipped to wherever the new house is. Because I don't want to deal with the storage unit. But anyways, I'm just kind of just rambling this morning. Um, I know with some friends I'm supposed to. I've got a few friends that I've reconnected with. So I'm just later on I'm gonna go ahead and probably well, not probably, later on I'm gonna go out and just try to get distracted from all this shit and just do something different. Because even every time when I came up here to visit with my Burnate and see my mom and my dad and trying to help out where I can with what few things my dad might need help out with, never did anything. Anytime I came up here, I avoided almost everybody, and I had a lot of people who would want me to swing by, all that. Some of them are just 5-10 minutes down the road from where I'm at now, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do it because like I said, I've been carrying a lot of shame on myself because I don't like how I've become. I don't like being in this heavy depressed state around so many people. So No, I'm willing to get together with folks in a public space, basically, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get together with some, with at least, a couple friends while I'm still up here and try and get distracted and work through this. So, I mean, gotta do something. But, thank you for watching. I've been just rambling for 30 minutes about pretty much nothing. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated or posted, and like I've been doing just right now, and just pretty much just trying to deal with this shit, let it out so I don't bottle it, and hopefully, the healing will finally start happening. Have a good day and have a good weekend. Thank you for watching. Late.